Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches. And so what I'm doing is, because I'm going to be going to Boy Scout camp in a few days with my oldest son, I'm pre-recording a few videos. Occasionally when I don't have crochet with me, I jot down a list of things that I can talk about, or based on your comments, I have like, oh, I can make a video about this, and I jot it down. So I'm making, so you're gonna see me wear this shirt because my husband's sleeping in the room because he works nights, and I don't want to zip up there just to get a shirt to change into to do another video. So y'all are just gonna have to realize that this is the same day. I'm wearing the same shirt. I don't wear this shirt for like 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. So, but I know you're all flexible like that and you won't be offended by me wearing this shirt. Even though I just noticed it does have a little hole here. I could pause the video and sew it, but we're just gonna be careful. So, this video is about my daughter's mermaid tail. And this is the backstory of how this all came about. My grandma taught me how to chain and double crochet when I was like 8 or 9 years old. And that's pretty much all if I ever got any scrap yarn, which was very minimal, I would do a chain, make a bracelet, make a necklace. Then when I got into college, I don't know why, but one day I wanted to make a blanket. So I went to Walmart, I grabbed some yarn, and I got, no, you know what, it was Hobby Lobby, because I bought a pattern book for making a baby blanket. And I looked at it, and it was basically a ripple blanket. And it was all double crochets, and you know, it goes up and down, where you do a couple in one, and you come down, you skip one, you go up, do a few in one. And in order to understand the pattern better, this is before YouTube, I think, or maybe Ravelry, because I went to college just like my freshman year, so 1998, 1999, and I printed up a crochet abbreviation sheet. And that's when I started trying to cipher what patterns meant. And I think I made a baby blanket, I made a lap blanket for my mom, I made a scarf or two, and that's pretty much the extent of what I crocheted. I started a blanket. I bought some purple variegated from Red Heart from Walmart in Oshkosh. Then when I had graduated, I hadn't finished it, of course. So then when I brought it back home and I moved in with my husband and we got married and all that kind of shenanigans, I found it. I'm like, oh, I'll finish this blanket. It was just double crochets all back and forth, rotating between a plain purple and a variegated purple. And back then, I didn't even know anything about private yarn shops and wool and all that stuff. Even though my mom worked at a craft store, I guess I never paid attention. So we went to the Sturgeon Bay Walmart, and they still had that purple variegated, but it was slightly off because it was a few years later and dye lots and all that stuff, probably a different city. So I was like, dang, I'm not going to finish this. And I stopped crocheting. And so that was probably in 2006. At that point, I could chain and double crochet. That's all I could do. I didn't even know any of the other ones really to try. Well, my daughter saw a mermaid blanket and she wanted one. And I thought, I can crochet, it can't be that hard. So I was looking for free patterns because this probably would have been in 2015, I think. And I didn't know about Ravelry yet, and I didn't want to go to the store and pay for one. So I was just typing in Google, mermaid tail crochet pattern free. And I would look through them, and because I'm not, as you all know, very computer savvy, if it had a different link or a download or different things like that, it took me a long time to even find one that I could get. And I was trying actually before this video to find the pattern, and I think I probably just pitched it. But it was called, to be honest, all I remember, the gal that made the pattern, something Mad Crocheter, Mad Love Crochet, I don't know. I have no idea what her name is. Anyway, she had the pattern. Now, she did not write patterns like typical patterns that I've ever seen before. And that's where you would be, you know, you have line, row, and it says, you know, chain 3 and then 2 double crochets in this stitch, and then it has a repeat so that you can do the length or whatever. She just had all words. And she's like, oh, so one night I was sitting there and I decided to whip up this tail, and she just talked about how to do it. And she's like, and you're gonna do a shell stitch, you're gonna do it in this, and then you're just gonna go round and round. And one other thing that she had you do is you rotated your colors. So I had 3 skeins of yarn that I would just rotate back and forth through. Just one moment. Yes, Maddie?
Okay.
Okay, so she left all 3 skeins of yarn on the project, and you started off doing rows. I believe that's right. I don't remember because it was all words. But I do remember eventually you would join. So anyway, so here's the start of the mermaid. You know what? It was rows. And so I did a row of purple, and then I would leave that yarn hanging attached to the skein. And then I would do a row of the variegated, and then that would come this way, and I would leave it hanging. And then I do a row of the teal, and then leave that hanging. And so that, and then I'd carry my yarn down to do the row of purple, variegated, teal. You get it? Just back and forth between these 3. You never cut them off. Well, then my darling niece got my crochet bag out, and she took the partial mermaid tail blanket out and was going to use it to cover up. Because as you can see, I can't tell you how many rows down. About this far down is where you finally join it. So this is kind of like spread up over your torso, and then it starts to join for this much out. And I love her to pieces, and it was my fault because I didn't hide it. I just left it on the floor next to the couch. Well, she got all that yarn twisted up, because remember, I'm having 3 skeins of yarn hanging off my mermaid tail, and she's climbing in it, laying in it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a flippin' hot mess. So I'm like, okay, thank you, honey. Auntie Summer's gonna go put this away. And so I bagged it up, put it away, and I didn't touch it for like 6 months or longer. Well, then my Aunt Heather came to visit, and she's a crochet master and a knitter, and she untangled it for me and got me back on track with my shells, because at that point then I'd lost my pattern. So she helped me and then taught me about the decreasing, because as you see, I don't know, it's not too much, but eventually does decrease until you get to the bottom. Now this is where it turned into a complete disaster. I first made the fin, and this is the pattern. It's rows of double crochet that then decrease and then increase. Well, I didn't like how flat it was. It just kind of laid there. So then I decided to make 2 pieces, put foam in here. That is what I've done, and sewed it together. That way my daughter could have like a real fin. And I didn't know how to sew things on at that time either. So look at, folks. This is my joining job. I mean, I really was just pulling, I mean, my ends have come out. I was just sewing in and out, and it's just an ugly hot mess. Then, finally, the third thing that's a disaster about it is when my daughter pushes her feet in it, which, you know, I can't blame her. She pushes really hard, and she's stretched out these 3 rows. Do you see that? So now I like want to burn this mermaid tail. The fin is hideous. The yarn has stretched now so that the foam doesn't even fit in there right. And then you got this ugly hot mess right there. So, but I don't want to get rid of it because the body of it is so, I think, so pretty. This is all, I love this cotton, or I love this yarn, Hobby Lobby. So this is my mermaid tail story. And the reason I mention it is because a few of you had mentioned that with this Mermaid Cove, I should make my daughter a mermaid tail. And I just feel like if I make her a new tail, what do I do with this old tail? And do I have the ability and the knowledge to rip all this ickiness out and re-salvage it to make then one of those really beautiful mermaid tail fins I've seen? Heck, I would even pay $2 for a mermaid fin. Now I have the ability to read real patterns and I'll be able to figure it out better. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, do I just make her a new one? Do I try to fix this one? Or do I just let it go? Here, just a second, I gotta pause the video. So I had to let my son in. He accidentally locked himself into the storage side of the basement. So anyway, this is my mermaid tail. I'm gonna try to get one of my kids to lay in this mermaid tail for the picture. That's what I'm gonna try to do. So you can see how beautiful it is until you get to that hideous fin. You can even see how awful that is. It's just I got a little bit of perfectionist in me. So like, I wrapped this up. I stuck it in the bottom of my daughter's closet. I don't even want her to use it. I don't know how to keep her from stretching her feet. And it's pretty long. It's not like she needs to have her feet way at the end of it. So that, my friends, is my mermaid tail story. If you have any suggestions on how to possibly fix the bottom so that I can maybe reattach a fin, because I hate to redo this whole mermaid tail. I want to say there's something like 12 skeins of yarn in this thing. You'll see when I lay it out. You'll all be able to have seen it in the thumbnail. Well, that's that for this video. My mermaid tail saga. Until then, thanks for watching and subscribing. My son's making faces at me right now. I don't really like them. So anyway, thanks for watching and subscribing, sharing my videos, and until then, happy crafting.